Hello, hello, and welcome back to iGaming Accent, brought to you by SBC Eurasia. I'm your only host so far, so I hope I'm not substituted in any further, like in near future. And today I have one of the great guests, Dainis Niedra, who is part of Entain, and as far as he's been in the middle of all the heat, what is going on around the world with the Entain, he's here to share some spicy information and everything concerned about all the mergers, all the acquisitions, all the cultural fits. Dainis, it's great to have you. How are you?
Hi, Vakho. Thanks a lot for inviting me, and thanks a lot for having me here. Yeah, so all great. I mean, like looking forward for the great discussion.
That's great. So when I start to kick off everything, I'm always interested for the people how they got into the industry. So what's your story there? Because I know that we have some similar stories regarding getting into the industry. So what is yours?
My story is pretty simple. I joined through retail business and through retail poker. Yeah, so it was almost 20 years ago. So it was I believe 2006, something like that. Yes, we started doing some poker activities, and then it transformed into running the offline poker club, and then like building some online affiliates on top of everything. And then like with the small steps or big steps, I'm here like running the online business and making things happen.
How was the poker 20 years ago, and how is different today? Because when I first started playing, it was like around 15 years ago, and it was the time it was still in the high rise. It was still the hype for me and our country that I'm origin from. So how was poker 20 years ago, and what changed there?
It was a big thing. It was a big thing specifically for the retail. Yeah, for the offline poker, we all remember like the big budgets that poker stars were coming in. Yeah, so making all this like Russian Poker Series, Russian Poker Tour, European Poker Tour. I mean, like every other week there was some big offline events here and there in Europe or in Eurasia. So it was on high before the Black Friday. Yeah, when like some of the major players, major operators left the markets. So some couple of mergers happened, and then like US was closed, and from that, I mean, liquidity started to go down. Yeah. So before that, it was like a big, massive hype, big budgets, big reach. I remember like on the very like, I don't know, classical TV channels on the evenings, they're like broadcasting from the European Poker Tour, which you can't even imagine today. So it was completely fine. A lot of people were playing like among their friends, etc. So it was a big thing. Yeah. So online was booming, retail was booming, and then like somewhere like maybe around like late 10s, like it started to go down.
And I think that I got into the poker as well based on the fact that my father always was watching the live translations of the big events like WSOPCs, European Poker Tours, Russian Poker Tours, and I was like always digesting the information on the back end, let's say unconsciously. And all the home games were happening in our house because like we had like a big poker table there, and every friend of my father was coming there, playing there. And by the way, and they were not even playing the Texas Hold'em, so they were playing 5 stats, so with the 5 cards. So I learned the first game that I learned was that, but later I transferred into the more easy going thing. Okay, that's interesting. So that's why I was saying I'm a big fan of poker. When I got into the industry just because that I was playing poker and it was interesting for me. Great. Dainis, by the way, as far as you have grown into the much bigger role and you have grown into like one of the biggest organizations there is around the world in our vertical, what do you do in Entain? Can you like briefly give me idea of what is your day like?
For today, my position is Chief Operating Officer for, I mean, like we should start like from the what Entain is. Entain is not like the vertically built company, vertical structured company when like, I don't know, as many other brands. It's the company that just like a couple of years ago had a different name, GVC. GVC stands for Gaming Venture Capital. So it was a venture capital company. So the company that was built through multiple acquisitions, kind of puzzle built of many different companies. Yeah. So that's why we have a lot of different brands, a lot of different offices, a lot of different jurisdictions, etc. Yeah. So that's why there will be maybe some people holding the similar title, similar positions, but they will just responsible for different regions. Yeah. So my title is Chief Operating Officer. So responsible for everything when it comes to operations and marketing, sales, and business development for I say 9 markets, but we still keep in mind a few more markets as soon as the war will end. Yes, so for now, that's 9 markets. That's the Nordics, Baltics, and some countries within the Europe, like Germany, Austria, Bulgaria, Denmark, Netherlands.
Such a big shoes to fill in. So, Dainis, I think that you are doing great so far. Let's say like that.
Thank you.
And yeah, great. By the way, you mentioned GVC, and I remember the first time that I learned about GVC was the time when it entered Georgia via acquisition of Crystalbet.
Yes.
By the way, the funny story is that I was traveling back from Brussels, where VSOPC event was held, and we took like 25 poker players there, and I was assisting them. I was product marketing manager for poker. And when I was getting into the flight, like one of my directors called that, there has been an acquisition of Crystalbet. It's now official, and hurry back, like come back. And it was such a pivotal time there because the Entain acquisition of Crystalbet was totally different rather than there was a previous acquisition for Georgian brand as well, like Betson Group entered via EuropaBet, but it was totally like different story rather than this. It was like an acceleration of the growth and inputting all the resources and all the things that GVC hold it dear and using and utilizing that to grow. And on that topic, what I'm trying to understand is that Entain is built by the different acquisitions, right? And different mergers.
Yes.
So how is that happening at the first time? So what is the decisions that going through Entain's head, let's call it like that, when they are making the decisions to acquire or not to acquire or start from the zero? Can you give?
Yeah, I mean, like when you say Entain, behind Entain, there are like people, and the people the people who were making decisions 5 years ago, there are different people that making decisions today. Yeah. But the logic is usually very simple. So you're trying to, with your merger, you're trying to block certain position within certain regions. Yes. So when you speak about Entain, that's always about podium positions. Yes. So it's all about buying the market leader or top 3 players on the market. Yes. So for example, when we take Crystalbet, if I remember correctly, the guys were number 2 on the market when the acquisition happened, and was time they became number 1 on the market. Yes. So by being the part of the Entain's family, the guys grew the business and became the market leaders. So yeah, you're trying because the organic market entrance, it takes more time, more resources. You need people, you need product, you need tech, you need like a lot of things. And on the other side, if you have cash, if you understand how to run the business, if you can evaluate and calculate the fair price, that's how you ended up with the acquisition. Yes. So, and then you try to give additional value on top of the existing business. I don't know, giving the know-how, giving the product, giving the cash if it's needed, trying to make the bottom line, yes, so more nice, yes. So I mean, working with the profitability of the business, because I don't know, you have different supplier contracts being a part of the big company and so on and so on. So, but in general, yes. So you're looking for the synergies in the markets that you are not present in the moment.
Let's double down on one thing. So the thing that you mentioned really resonated with me. So when Entain enters the market, they are choosing between top 3. What is the best indicator from your experience? So what is the first click then that you know that these are the right company, these are the right guys to partner with? Is there like beyond the KPIs, like beyond the financial metrics, beyond the technology, beyond everything? So I think that there is a thing that it clicks that these are the right guys to go with.
This is a tricky question, but I see it in the perspective that, I mean, like for today, usually you have everything, but you don't have time. So you have to win time. And by saying to win time, usually you have to get right people and the right marketing, or let's say right brands. Yes. So the brands should be dominated on the market. So it should be the like big, strong brands. Because like now to raise the brand from scratch these days, especially when like you have, I don't know, 10, 20 brands on the market, when the market is getting restricted like more and more with every next year. So it's quite complicated. And we all know how it's complicated to set up a team. Local, strong team who understand the market, who can fill the market, who can fill the local players, who understand the local product requirements, who understand the local compliance requirements, who understand, I don't know, the general flows, trends, etc. This is like the real value that you can't bring from the head office.
It's so interesting. So local market understanding from the local talents, and growing their talents
Absolutely.
I think from my experience is one of the hardest things, because just letting them know what the iGaming stands for, what we do, how is this different from every other industry there is, and how should everything be done, that is the hardest things to learn. And when even after all the tech, all the revenue, all the money, that is something that companies still stand on the people, so people are behind it, and if they are great, the company is great at the end of the day. That's great. By the way, that arises another question. As far as new people are coming into the organization such big as Entain, are there cultural crashes? Are there misunderstandings just because of that? Yeah, they might be understanding the local market great, but do they understand us as a Entain and coming to this market?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, like in Entain now we're like 27,000 people, I believe, working in Entain. So in I don't know how many offices across more or less all the continents. But I believe now that there is a clear understanding that the business should be local. Yes, so and everything should be local. Yes, so you can try to centralize maybe something when it comes to the tech and product, but the marketing and operations there should be local. Yes, so and that's why the company as such understands that there could be a cultural gaps and you have to minimize them. Yes, so the people sitting like I don't know in London or like in Las Vegas, they most probably are not the right ones who will tell you how to run marketing in Tbilisi. Yeah, so even if they are like super professionals in London or Las Vegas, yeah. But if you want to have a successful marketing for Georgia, that it should be run in Georgia by Georgians for Georgians. Yes, so I believe this understanding is quite clear now.
Yeah, I think that is already on the table from the really successful cases and also unsuccessful cases from all the acquisitions that happened in the past, because some international companies really screwed up so many things regarding that, and like a main office or like orchestrating everything in the local thing and trying to like localize everything from there. So by the way, the fun thing is that I was part of Achrabet, the competitors of the Crystal Bet, and I was like on another side, and it happened to me as well. Like I was on the people side there when the Flutter acquired that, and one of the things that we were always, let's say, afraid at the beginning is how should we do that, because it's hard for like a Georgian to understand that any other native. It's always the same. So it's hard for international people to understand each other when the culture is so different. For example, for me and you at Dainis, as we are coming from the almost like same part of the history, same part of the, let's say, countries on the continent, we can either connect really well, but the ones that are coming from the different cultures, different things, it's really hard, sometimes getting hard. Closing this gap and managing these expectations, managing these fears, I think that is where you and your company succeeds on that level. Okay, one thing that is always interesting as far as we are in CIS region, and we are mostly like topics that we touch up, the CIS is the CIS region, and you've been growing in this region quite far and quite well. Can I ask you also, like, what's your opinion about this market, and is it still a go-to market or no go-to market for the big brands via MAs or not? Like, how you see our market growing? Because there are some marketing bans, there are some countries opening up, so there's many things happening all together. So what's your view?
I'm quite positive about these markets. Yes, so they always were the markets of interest. We were in Belarus with the operations before the Ryanair case. I don't know how much you're familiar with this. Yes, so if you remember, like that, like they landed down the Ryanair flight because they wanted to take some
Yeah,
a guy from the yeah.
I remember. Yeah,
Yeah.
I remember that.
So
That was.
we were there, yeah. So before Ryanair, then we put everything on hold, and together with the war, we left market completely. I mean, yeah. So it's only about like the political situation there. I would say we were like 99% ready for taking the license. So all the certifications, team in place, you name it, everything was there. Yeah. So we were ready for the launch. The only thing that we were missing, the amendments to the law that will allow us to make any profit from the market. Yes. So, because like with the law that was there in the end of 2021, mathematically, it wasn't possible to make any profit. That's why all the guys who were there active and who were there active like during the war, they all lost their licenses, because like the only way how you can operate there is like that you, I don't know, close your eyes on paying certain taxes or I don't know, on many other things. Yes, so we were waiting for many months and quarters for the law amendments, and then we just like kicked project from our roadmap and then war started. I mean, so but the Ukraine is still a big, very interesting market. Yeah, it's I don't want to speculate a lot here because like it's a big tragedy what's happening there. Fingers crossed everything finishes soon, and then with the good outcome. So, but yeah, the market is there now. The competition is. I can't say it's tough because like all the big brands they left the market, like they were forced to leave the market. So it's an interesting market. Yes. So Russia, I believe, no go for the I don't know for some future for sure. But the Kazakhstan, Uzbekistan, Armenia, for sure, the markets that seem attractive. Yeah.
By the way, about being ready 99%, it was the
Yeah.
same for us as well. We were entering the Belarus market and it was 99%. All the branding, everything done, platform connections, tech team there, local team, and the same thing happened for us, or we would be competing in that market today, and it might be much more fun, the competitors sitting on the one table. By the way, do you fly a lot during this time because you are managing such many countries, and do you travel a lot between these locations?
Not only between, but like, for example, I don't know, the central performance marketing team sits in Israel. Yeah. So the head office is in London. So it's like you have to travel not only between your, let's say, region, between the countries within your region, but you have to go somewhere else as well. I'm usually, on average, I would say like every second week, I'm somewhere out of the office, out of the hometown. So it's roughly some 50 flights a year. So kind of like that.
I think that I was trying to get to the main question, that is, I mean, have you hacked the system of travel and not to lose the sleep, don't work on nerves, like don't be jet lagged? Do you know something? There is a secret about it. Like, making a 50 flights a year is like a lot. I'm like more in 20s, but still, how do you crack that? I'm after every flight, when I get back to hometown, I'm dying. I just don't want to do anything for 1 week, just to sleep in and not do anything. What's your approach about that? Like, teach me, please.
I will not be the right person to teach about that because, like, honestly, I have no problems with this. On top of this 50 flights, I have like 10 personal or like 10, 12 personal. So it's like, on average, it's usually like something between 60 and 70. I mean, no, I always try to pick like the earliest possible flight. So like I leave like I don't know home like 5:30 something like that. So it helps a lot like to kick off the day early and like so you start your day early as well when you land somewhere. So yeah, I mean like for me it's definitely I would say that maybe the flights are not the problem. I would say maybe hotels become a problem with age. Yes, so I'm not a big fan sleeping elsewhere, not in my home. But I don't know. Somehow, usually you're so tired that like you fall asleep no matter what. Yeah. So that's how we solve this problem.
Did you have like from all the travels? I think that you have some funny stories as well. Was there a mix-up? Was there a thing that you missed your flight maybe, or it was to be rescheduled? You were stuck in the hotel or something like that, or you were late to the flight or something like that?
There was one book that I read maybe around some 5 years ago. I remember there was a it was well like something about some business etc. And the guy was telling that if you have more than 40 flights a year and you don't miss any of them, it means that you're bad in your time management. It means that you are too like you give yourself more time than is needed, like to go to the airport, etc. So you play too safe. So you have to be late on your flights at least once a year, and then it shows that your time management is close to perfect. For me, no, I mean like I live very close to the airport, and usually in the 4-day cities, I try to be quite early to the flight. So I mean like not to take any extra risks. Yeah, but like maybe like our regional airplane companies, they're like not that good with time management. A lot of flights are delayed. Yeah, especially like I don't know if you travel to Malta or you travel like to London. I mean, like it's a common thing, like flights being delayed. That's why it happens that I'm late. But yeah, so I believe it was only once when I was traveling from Kiev back home, and I ended up in some huge traffic because like the airport in Kiev located quite far from the city center. So it's like even on the empty streets, you have to go like some maybe 45 minutes to the airport, and then it was like some very tough traffic on Saturday morning. I don't know why. And then like I understand that I'm like it's no go. Yeah, I completely relaxed sitting in the taxi, understanding that I will not catch the flight, so I will look for other things. And then I got an SMS from the Air Baltic saying that the flight is delayed by 1 hour or something. thanks a lot. Yeah, that's what I was looking for.
So they were on your side. So I think that you have
Absolutely.
already, Hector, you have like some kind of superpower with it, with the traveling, because
I hope.
there is no worries about the sleep, no worries about the delays, no worries about being late. So I think that you already are really, really like a fish swimming in a sea, or I don't know, bird flying in the sky for this reference. So that's pretty good. By the way, one time that I only had that is what you mentioned. London flights are always like a nightmare. Turkish Airlines tried to like, of course they oversold, like it was overbooked, and I don't know why, because this was the conference. Everybody arrived at the right time, and they tried to push back different people, and it was like a nightmare. When I got in, I was like, please let me relax in the lounge and then let me sleep, and I'll be back home. It was like such a mayhem there. I don't know what was happening.
Sorry. Yeah, I just like, so since you're in Georgia, my weirdest like flight from the last year was that we had a big meeting in Batumi, and I got a message that I have to be in Riga next day, like urgently. And then I took the late bus from Batumi to Tbilisi, and I came, I don't know, maybe some 11 p.m., something like that. And the flight to Riga was 4:30, something like that. So I remember this 2 hours in the hotel, somewhere like in the old town. So it was a nice experience. Yeah, but I was like very shocked that like 4 a.m. and the airport is like, it was like completely full. So it was as crowded as it could be. Yeah. So like even before 4 a.m. So Tbilisi airport was like, I don't know. It's like someone is going for holidays. Like it's like 1st of June. I don't know. It was a big surprise for me. Yeah.
Tbilisi airport works in reverse. I think that more flights are free in the morning, and there are not many people in the morning, but more people in the evening. And that is, if I remember it correctly, it's connected to the pricing of for airlines. It's much cheaper to land in the evening rather than in the morning, if I remember it correctly. As far as you are mentioning Georgia and mentioning like you already mentioned two of my favorite cities,
Okay.
I'll go ahead and a little bit ask you Georgian questions as well. So what's your favorite food about what you have eaten so far in Georgia?
I mean, that's the most provocative question, because like I'm a huge
Hardest.
fan of Georgian food.
I know. Let's give
So
top three then. I'm always using that.
any combination of bread and cheese is always a winning combination. So all the hachapuri, you name them, I don't know, Ajarian ones.
Hachapuri?
That's like Ajarian hachapuri. Yeah, that's the number one, let's say. Then I'm a big fan of lobio. Absolutely. So I mean, it's something that, I mean, like you can compare. Don't want to sound rude. I apologize, but you can compare, like, I don't know, hachapuri with any other pastures. But lobio is something that is like that. I know I never ate. I have never eaten this outside of Georgia. Yes, so like this, the beans, the local spices is something that makes this food special. And the third one is something that I eat only in Georgia. I don't know what's the right word in English. Then you take everything what is not really red meat from the cow, etc. All the like lunges, heart, liver, etc. And then you fry with the vegetables, with the spices, etc. So this
even I don't know how it's in English. So even I don't remember how it's in English. So yeah, that's really great. So it's in Georgian. It's called like no, I won't be able to say that in English. So let's keep it. But you have quite a list. I wouldn't even eat something just from my childhood. There is a chadi, like a Georgian bread with cheese. So that is like something from my childhood that I would add to the top three, maybe on the bottom part. But other things are there. By the way, I have not eaten today, so I think that I will end after our podcast. I will go out and eat some Georgian things and make a cheers for you.
Lucky you.
Okay, great. One particular thing is that I really want to know about it, because you have such a long experience and doing all this great stuff, what you do, is that like, what are how this articulation towards this topic is always fun for me and always a little bit stressful. So I will ask it in the most primal way. What are the mistakes that you have done? And if you can share that mistake and what you learned from this mistake would be really interesting for me, because I think that people are based on how they handle the mistakes and how they go from the problem to the solution and to the new problem. So maybe you have something to share about that as well?
I believe the biggest mistakes, at least for me, usually come when I try to avoid big mistakes. Yeah, so when you try to overthink, try to make things
Play it safe.
over complicated, etc. Yes, so I don't want to sound like very, because usually people speculate a lot was this topic. I do believe in people, because I do believe that the people make business for people, and I usually work like my biggest and the top priority is always like the team that I work with. Yes, so I work together. Yes, so and usually all the biggest mistakes that I have made, and when the people were wrong people, or the right people were in the wrong positions, or the right people were in the right positions but in the wrong time. So usually I give more time for people, I don't know, to change, let's say, their attitude to work, to the projects, to the colleagues, and usually you have to let them go straight away. Yeah, so no need to wait, no need, like, I mean, like, it's quite clear from the very beginning. So I would say all this, let's say, chart things, they usually created like the biggest part of the problems or challenge that we had. Another, let's say, chunk of the problems, it's about the communication. You just have to talk more with the colleagues, like the cross team communication, cross department communication, etc. So you might think that people know everything, that they understand everything, because I don't know, you wrote something once on you, or you said something once. No, I mean, like, it's not. Yes, so that's why not everyone could be a good teacher, because the things that sound simple to you or sound like very default to you, they might sound completely different to other people. Yes, so, and for them it's not that simple, it's not that obvious. Yes, so you should repeat the same things all and over again to make sure that everyone understands, like, what's the strategy, what are the tactical aspects, what is the goal, like what are the objectives, etc., etc. So when you miss something because of, I don't know, because of the tough schedule, or because, I don't know, just like because of the lack of experience, you miss some things, yeah, and you understand that, like, yeah, that some things went wrong just because of that. And the third, I would say that don't try to make everything. You can't be good in everything. So you can't be number one in all the markets in the world, even like in your region. Just like find your place, find your superpower, find like the way how you do the business, where are your strengths, know your weaknesses, try to work with them as well. Yes, so, but again, like, so you should set the priorities quite clearly. Yes, so if everything is a priority, then nothing is a priority. Yes, so that what makes failures by the end of the day.
So many insights. So from one question that I didn't even expect. So first thing that I think that biggest mistakes I've done is giving too many chances to people that in deep down in my heart I knew that I'm giving these chances for free, and for it will come back to me in really bad manner in future, and trying to fix too much with the people, I mean, that change their attitude, change their approach to the work. I think that you are wasting so much energy in that, and sometimes it's better for you and for him as well to just be in different rooms.
Absolutely.
Or I mean, different
Absolutely.
companies,
Yeah.
different approaches. So it's always like really hard decision to let somebody go, and like that is like really, really hard. But sometimes it's much better for both parties just to go with the separate ways. So yeah.
Absolutely.
I mean, during the rush, I was always joking that it's one time I had like more than 100 people to manage, and it was such a hassle to do all the things like yourself and trying to have like your own standards that I just gave in at one moment, like, okay guys, let's do it your way and let's start doing the more and more delegation. And it turned out that approach is much, much better rather than doing everything yourself. You have to like start trusting your team, start trusting your team members, and as soon as something like a bad attitude and so on happens, and if you feel really from the heart, it's much better to make hard choices at the beginning. So the mistakes are coming back to you in a bad way if you knew that this would happen. So that would be only thing that I would add about that. So thank you for your insight, Dainis. Also, by the way, we are all quite approaching the time where we use our previous guest blind question. So our previous guest was Glenn from Bad Starters, and he left you with one question. He didn't know who would be next guest, and by the way, you have to leave something for the next person as well. So absolutely. I will ask his question word by word. If your career had a theme songs, what would it be?
Nice one. It seems that he was preparing.
He caught me off guard there as well.
Yeah. Oh, that's a
All
nice
the
one.
previous questions goes to
Yeah, that would be some rap, I would say. The game. So hate it or love it. Yeah, that was the song. I would name it because I mean like the industry is very controversial. The job is so tough. The challenges are so many, and like the pace is so fast. You should hate it or love it. Yeah. So since we love it, that's why we're here. So I would say yeah. So the game. I believe the right word was hate. Yes. So hate it. That's the name of the song. Yeah. Brilliant question. Yeah. Thanks a lot.
yeah. So yeah, you either hate it and you always complain about the industry, about how things are done here, and or you love it because you understand the game behind it and you play with the rules and sometimes bend it to your likings. Such a good tone. We have to listen afterwards. I think that will be my next Spotify's music when I go back to. Also, you have Dainis to leave something for next guest as well.
Yeah, my question is following. When I started like working was gambling, I was like, let's say, working in two different businesses same time. The second business was entertainment. I was running the nightclubs, restaurants, etc. together with the poker. And then at some point it was like kind of a crossroad when I had to make a decision like which way I want to go, and I went completely gaming direction. And I was always wondering like how my life could look like if I would made another choice. So my question would be, if it's not gambling, then how you imagine your life as a, let's say, optional life. Yeah. So if it's not gambling, then what else? Yeah.
What else? Yeah. Also, that's like a question when you had the choice and you choose like a blue pill instead of the red pill. What would the red pill do, right? So, what would be other life
Exactly.
that you would go? So, what is your parallel
Exactly.
self
Yeah.
like? That's such a nice thing. By the way, what is your parallel? So, you already mentioned that you were running the nightclub. So, maybe
Yes.
you would be like a owner of the nightclub today or something like that. How do you see, by the
Yeah.
way, your parallel self as well?
Hopefully not. The nightclub culture is that. I don't know how it's in Georgia. I was like going to some small bars, but like in our part of the world, comparing to what it was, let's say 12 years ago or even 10 years ago, now it's completely that. And I was thinking that it's just like because of the, I don't know, I thought it's some local problem, yeah. But I just recently, maybe months ago, I was reading the research from London. Yes, so the London, like the capital of the huge country, the city is growing, getting rich and more rich with every next day. And they lost 50% of the nightclubs for the past 10 years. So the half of the nightclubs are gone. It's just like tells a lot about the existing generation. So this nightclub culture is very aggressive. Yes, so they're not so well with this loud music, with the crowds that everyone is like standing shoulder to shoulder, like and aggressively trying to get their drink from the bar. I see myself more, let's say, if I would have a chance to start everything again without having a chance to be in gambling, it would be real estate. I always wanted to be an architecture. I would most probably I would push that direction. Yeah, my first education is civil engineer, so I'm like before like I started to work in the entertainment, I finished the university as a civil engineer. So I'm like I have to build something. So maybe that's why it sits within me still.
Maybe that's why you are where you are as well, because like a
Absolutely.
builder and maker of everything is sitting in
Absolutely.
the company and in the place, building the
Yeah.
different cultures, building the different brands from ground up or from growing them from X to
Yeah.
X. So maybe that's also your passion coming
Yeah.
to this
I
industry and
when I
still.
checking the resumes of the I'm not like I'm not that active in the recruitment process because like a lot of different teams that we work together, they recruit more. But when I go through the resumes, two things I always pay attention. That's the first education and the first job, because to my mind it's they create your DNA. And like I definitely became like an engineer. My mindset is very engineering. Yes, so I try to make everything super logical, super simple, super clear. And on top of that, I mean, like if you're a civil engineer, if you do your job bad, I mean, like the result is very simple. The people will die. So I mean, that's why I mean, like if you're like I'm like any job is good, yeah. But if you're if you're like I don't know the bookkeeper, yeah. So and you made like the annual report with mistakes, I mean, like most probably no one will die. Yeah, but if you're building bridges and you have built them with some mistakes, then yeah, it's a bit different story. Yeah. So that's why my mindset is like you have to triple check everything that it really works as it should work. Yeah, and my first work was during the study process. I was working as a bartender, and the bartender means that I mean
Communication,
like
all the communication there
communication.
is.
Yeah, you work with people, and like the better you work, the more you earn. So no one, if you're not at work, you're getting nothing. Yeah, because I was working only for tips. Yeah, so the salary was, I don't know, maybe $10 a day. Yeah, so it's only tips. Yeah, so I mean, like, if you're in a bad mood, if you, I don't know, if your haircut is bad, if you smell bad, if you look bad, anything, I mean, like, then it affects, by the end of the day, it affects your income. It's all about you. So the company gives you all the instruments, on the tools, but then it's you, the bar, and the people, and then you make your own revenues, yeah, in a very fair way. Yeah, so you sell the service, you get the profit. Yes, so you create the value. The more value you create, the more you earn. Yes, so it's not like something fixed income that you sit in the office, I mean, like 6 p.m. you're gone. No, I mean, like, if club
And
opens
tapping
till
out at the
8.
6 p.m. going out.
Yeah, so if the club, if it's like 6 7 a.m. and the people are still there, then you are still there as well. Yes, so because like this are your money. So that's, I believe, this created this mindset and this DNA for me, that like, you create the value. You should create the value. No one will do this for you.
For you. Yeah, exactly. And I would even go further. From what I remember, even I was a basketball player playing for national team as well when I was young. And what I remember is that even that experiences after all these years are coming into the play, because like knowing what the team is, supporting each other, pushing each other farther, making a fair competition, and sometimes non-fair competition, because the time was different then, and so we were competing only for 2 places or 3 places for 1 position, right, to play on national team. So all that is referred in our managerial style, our approach to the things we do, and that is engraved in such a unconscious way that we sometimes don't even mention it or don't even see the patterns there. But yeah, like, wow. Okay, that is high note to finish, Dainis. So what do you think?
Thank you.
And you will give like the next guest such a big thought when he answers. So thank you for that, and thank you for being the part of our podcast and our guest. So you've been listening to iGaming Accent, brought to you by SBC Eurasia. And by the way, don't forget to subscribe to us in all the channels that you listen to for our podcast. We are everywhere, and see you exactly in 2 weeks. Bye bye.